So I'll try to do this one-handed. There's a reflection on the screen there, which I'll try to avoid. So as you can see, you got the numeric keypad for calling up the patches, or you can just use the wheel here, the plus or minus buttons. These are navigation to navigate the cursor. There's the exit button. If you ever get stuck, just hit exit and you'll get out of there. Soft buttons underneath, which actually relate to whatever is displayed on the screen there. So you can see you've got, as you go through different menus, the functions of these buttons will change. This is a handy dandy one for going up and down. You can see there's green writing and white writing. You can use these buttons to scroll through various layers or channels, depending on, again, which mode you're in. If you want to go to channel 2, you can just access this from here. If you want to switch layers, you're in editing mode, you can just use the up and down keys there, and so they're dual function. These are also dual function. As you can see, disk is compare. These are markers and jumpers and previous page on your editing, things like that. Zoom in and out. Mute 1, 2, 3. That's probably the most important part. Each sound that I was playing was made up of a maximum of 3 sounds or patches stacked on top of each other, and these are called programs. I've dialed up a program here which uses what they call a key map. A key map is basically a patch that they've put together. They've organized the samples for you. They've put them into a kind of a generic setting, and then you can go in and mess with it a little bit more. So rather than just give you a stack of samples, they've organized them into what they call key maps. This is a sawtooth, and what I've done is, as you can see, it is patch number 242, and I've named it generic patch. You will, however, hear that once I play it, there's some extra sounds on there that you probably weren't expecting. I'm going to try that again and turn the monitor. So here it is again. Here's that generic patch sawtooth, and it should be a bit louder this time. Now, as you can hear, it starts to go crazy in there. So this is basically how you get into the edit mode. And I can try to describe how I got the sound to freak out a little bit. You hit the edit button, which takes you to the edit screen. Now, up comes probably the secret of the vast programming. You can see algorithm number 5. And I forget how many algorithms there are. Actually, I guess we could just scroll through them and see how many there are. There's 30 of them. All right, and I think this was on algorithm number 5, wasn't it? So an algorithm is basically a set of digital signal processing components. As you can see, it starts here. There's the pitch. That's whatever key map you've used. The first thing you can change, if you want to, is the pitch. Then it feeds through a filter, to low pass, and then it goes to a band filter, and then it goes to the amplifier. Now, each one of these stages can be edited. So as you can see, if I move the cursor down, move it across, now we can edit the pitch. We hit enter, we hit edit, and it will take us to the pitch page. Now, as you can see, there's the coarse and fine tuning and ultra fine tuning, the key tracking and the velocity tracking, and then on this side, this is where the fun and games begin. The fun and games begin because these are the modulation options. There are 2 sources, source 1, as you can see at the top, and then source 2. Source 1 is just a regular, could be a modulation, it could be aftertouch, or it could, actually there's, I don't know, 100, feels like 100 different modulation options. There are so many possibilities for modulation, it's insane. And then there's a depth. But what's interesting about source 2, as you can see, it's LFO number 1. There's 2 LFOs in total. The depth control. So something is controlling the depth, and it's ASR1 is controlling the depth, which we'll come to that in a minute. The maximum depth there is a huge 7,000%. So something's controlling the pitch. Let's go back a little bit. We will exit that. and go back to the, I went too far. Let's cancel that. See, it even gives you the option to cancel. Let's go back to check the algorithm. So that was the pitch. Now you scroll along to the filter, and actually, look, you can choose. There's a 2-pole low pass, what they call a parameter shaper, nothing, you can bypass it. So this one actually had, a bandpass filter, a notch filter, and then, so those are your options. My gosh, look at all those. So I think we were on 2-pole low pass. As you can see, there's 2 little arrows on the top there. That means there's 2 things that you can do to modulate or flex in real time on the filter there. So let's just go to edit, and you'll see the first one is the frequency. Now the only confusing thing about the frequency is it's set according to the key number F7, which would be all the way up here. So if you wanted to change the filter, you would again scroll down and you can see the key. There's great specs if you look at online. I'll try to post the links to show you how to read these parameters more clearly. But again, there's your filter tracking and velocity tracking, and once again the exact same thing: source and depth, source to depth, and then a control, whatever is controlling the depth of source 2. So let's go back to the algorithm again, and actually if we scroll more, you can see now, let's try that again, more. You can see the 2-pole low pass, it's still there, so let's go one more time. There, let's go back, because what I was looking for was actually at the bottom. There. You can see, I mentioned there's 2 arrows going into the filter. One was for the frequency, the other one is resonance. And once again, if we were to click the soft button under resonance, up comes the resonance page, and this is adjustable in dB. Again, key tracking and velocity tracking. And once more, on the side there, you've got your modulation possibility. Source 1, which right now is set to envelope 2. Source 3 is what they call fun, which is like a function generator. It generates numeric values. And then once again, we hit 4 for frequency. This is bandpass 2. Remember, if we go back to the algorithm page, you'll see there's the filter, and then also there's the bandpass filter as well, which if we scroll across, there, now that's highlighted, we can edit that. Takes us to the, and once again, you've got the filter seems to be adjustable according to keys, but it is represented in hertz. And like I said, there are graphs online that explain it very well. There's your options again, and once more, you have your source control for modulations. So as you go, if we go back to the, algorithm, you can see that different algorithms have different combinations of filters. There's 2 low pass and then a band pass, and all of these components have that modulation option. There is a long list of modulation possibilities. There you see 3 low pass, one feeds into the other, one bypasses the other, but all of these are editable. So, and this is just one layer. So this is just your one patch. If we use our soft keys and go back, you can see new layer, duplicate layer, or import layer, or delete a layer. What you can do is, if you duplicate the layer, it says, it's a bit out of focus now. Okay, now if we look in this top corner, you'll see there's layer, ooh, come on, get in focus, layer 2 of 2. So now we have 2 layers. And if you remember earlier on, I was saying these buttons over here allow you to navigate between layer 1, that's layer 1, and you go up, and that's layer 2. It can be confusing, of course, when you've got 2 layers that are exactly the same. So on this side, there's a mute. You can mute one and then edit the other one. Mute 2 and then edit the other one. And so in this way, you can build up to 3 layers to create one enormous, can't even speak, I'm so impressed, ginormous patch. As you can see, these are the main kind of menu editing keys. we have the algorithm and then layer. We can edit the layer options. There's the key map. It tells us which key map we were listening to, and of course sawtooth. Very easy to change. There's tons and tons and tons of key maps. The layer we looked at, pitch, that's your generic pitch. If you look at the pitch, it'll tell you what we were doing before, whether you want to modulate the pitch. You can invert it, you can make it just stay one pitch if you want to. Let's go to the next screen. These are the components that make up the algorithm, if you remember that. We didn't look at the amplifier, but it's the same as the others. Now we go to the next one. Output, that's where if you select output, there's your pan and your basic gain, and if you want to crossfade, you can crossfade as well. Effect, it has built-in effects, and all the sounds you heard were used with the built-in effects, but once again you can modulate the effects in real time using, right now these two things are switched off, but if I wanted to, I could go down and select a parameter from the effect, like high frequency damping, adjust it here, or I can make the mod wheel or any number of MIDI parameters. If I go a bit higher up, LFO2 could control the high frequency damping, and you can select how much depth, and similar. You could go on to the third parameter. So you've got 3 parameters per effect that you can adjust in real time using a modulation, or what I like to do is use the foot pedal, and so you can fade the reverb or whatever you want in and out so it's not fixed, and that way it helps keep it a bit alive. You have your common parameters, which are whether you want to make it monophonic or not. These are the ranges. Okay, so we're going to cancel all that. So let's go back and see what our other options are for editing. Here's where the envelopes are, after you do the common, set range, and all that stuff that we just did. Go to the next page, and here you have a separate amplifier envelope. If you click on that, you can see the shape of the amplifier. There's 3 attack stages, and then a decay, and then 3 release stages. You can loop the envelopes. You can loop one portion of the envelope forwards or backwards, infinitely or not. And again, if we go to attack 1, right now it's set to instant. As I scroll, you can see the shape of the envelope changing right there. Right now it goes up to 100%, but if I only make it go halfway, the envelope changes accordingly. That's specifically for the amplifier envelope. Envelope 2 you can assign to whatever you want, and once again you can see it's instantaneous, so that could control the filter if you like. Envelope 3, same thing, it's almost not even being used. Envelope 3 could control the pitch, or it could control the resonance, or it could control the effect depth, or the LFO depth, anything you wanted to control. Then you have envelope control, as if that wasn't enough control, and here you can adjust the attack, decay, or release by various amounts, and again, what is controlling the release or the attack is one of those modulation options. Right now it uses what's called a fund 3, which is a mathematical equation basically, but I could, again, there you go, you could have envelope 2 controlling the envelope control, which would be a bit wild. LFO1, any of these things could control, and again, you can control by how much. So that's the envelope control. Moving along, you have the LFOs, which are pretty insane. There's 2 of them, but if I just scroll across, you can see the shape. There's an 8-step, and then just positive 8-step, 10-step, just positive. There's all these shapes: sine, plus sine square, just positive square, triangle, just the positive. So more LFOs that you can shake a stick at, and you can also alter the phase of the shape as well. And you can control the rate by one of those modulation routings. I think I might just take a picture of the modulation routings and just put it up here. Next is the ASR. If we go to the ASRs, you can see the ASR is it needs to be triggered. It needs to be triggered by something, and it has an attack and release, as you can see. It's kind of an extra envelope, but it can be switched on, and as you can see, it needs to be triggered by something. So you couldn't, I guess you could have if an LFO was doing it, it would switch this on and off, but it needs to be triggered. So it's a 3 little stage envelope, attack, decay, and release, that is again separate from the other envelopes and can be switched on and off. The mod wheel could trigger it, or a key or aftertouch could trigger it, and you've got 2 of those. Here's your funds, your function, I think they're called function generators. There's 4 of them. And then you've got different inputs, different outputs, and then here's the different functions, which is an insane amount of functions. And all of these create a value that you can then assign to one of the modulation routines. Many options here, and there's 4 of them. So if you're keeping track of all this, you're doing a better job than I have. Velocity trigger, I think that's just regular settings for the velocity. What else we got? Then you're back to the save and stuff like that. Alright, I'm going to just switch off the camera for a sec, because here's that list of control sources. You can see actually you can assign them because you've got MIDI assignable, so you could use a MIDI controller to send to be one of the sources. So you could, if you've got pads or faders or whatever, or pots on your controller, they could all be assigned here or here. I said there was 100, more than 100. Actually, that's your panic button. And then here's more MIDI controllable. Here's your global LFOs. Bipolar mod wheel has its good days and bad days. There's your funds. You can have all of these as control sources, whether the key is struck, whether it's up or down. The clock, you can actually sync it to MIDI. So you could have the LFOs synced to MIDI. Again, these are all modulation options, which means you could assign any one of these to any one of those source 1 or source 2, and here you go. And then there's more that you can assign. These are constants actually, but as you can see, just too many. The sequencer in this is excellent. I actually used it for a TV project. Then it does solo piano. I did not use the piano on this. I used an outboard piano, but I used this as the sequencer, and it allows me to edit everything. 16 track, very good. It's a really good sequencer. One more little party trick that I'd really like to try to kind of conclude. As you know, this machine will allow you to read Akai, Roland, and Ensoniq samples. And I know that people always say, oh, it's cross-compatible, and we can read this, we can read that. But well, I'm going to put it to the test. This floppy disk is probably from around 1996. No. Yeah, 96, 2006. So it's about 20 years old. This is, as you can see, it says Funk Drums, and it was done for the Akai. I did it on the Akai 950. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the disc in, go to the disc menu. Right now it's set to the SCSI drive, so you just turn the wheel till it says floppy. There it is, floppy. And we will load. It's reading it. This drive will read WAV files, okay? So I'm going to load in Funk Drums. Now, these are not the samples, this is the program. As you can see, there's a P after it. So I'm going to say OK. Let's put it in somewhere safe so I don't overwrite something. We'll put it in the 400s. We'll do append, which allows you to add so you don't overwrite, and now it's loading. So we're actually loading a program that was created on the S950 20 years ago, and I put the floppy in the drive, and now as you can see it's loading the samples. I honestly don't remember how they were mapped, but it will remember, if I'm correct, it'll remember the key mapping as well. So this is a 20-year-old floppy created on an S950, and now the Kurzweil is reading it. And once you get these samples into the 2000, you can edit the samples. You can reverse them, EQ them, chop them, change them, loop them. You can edit the samples as if they were created by the machine itself. I know some of the Kurzweils have a sampling option. This doesn't have the sampling option, but still, and here we go. So if I go into the play mode, get out of there. It was in the 400 somewhere, so let's just look for it, and there it is. Let's see. And there's the thing that was recorded 20 years ago. So they're not looped. Nothing on that one. Okay, you get the idea. So I'm just wondering if we can get into that and if we can edit one of the samples. Let me just... Okay, so here we are. Here's our funk drums that I imported off the floppy. To get to the samples, you just keep hitting edit, basically. Edit. That'll take you to the algorithm. Now, don't forget all those filters. Those algorithms are available to this sample too. All these drum loops could be fed through all those algorithms of filters and things. But we're going to go to the key map. As you can see, it says funk drums, and we're going to edit that. And then there's no sample on there, but there's a sample here. Let's see if we can edit that one. And then there you can see there's the sample come up. I can trim it, I can loop it, I can apply a DSP. What kind of DSPs you've got? Or normalize, truncate, volume adjust, or you can just clear it, or you can delete it, fade it in, reverse it. So there's the loop right there, and of course if I try to get onto the editing side, anyway, so you could just spend forever. If I can take those Akai samples and edit them and then feed them through those algorithms, I'm basically ending up with all new samples. And then of course, because this one has SCSI, I've got my SCSI hard drive, and I can just back everything up. Again, so this little floppy here will read WAV files, so you can just import them right off your laptop. The pedal that I'm using is this guy here. This is the secret weapon, I think, to programming, because you can have one of the controls is this volume pedal, which is a quick lock. I don't know if you can see that there. And this was, I think, $23 new. And this is actually a great pedal because it's compatible with different keyboards. It has a switch on the side. I think you can switch it between Yamaha, Roland, whatever you want. So I'm using this to control the reverb levels, the LFO depth, the filter sweeps, the resonance, the pulse width modulation. Everything can be controlled. And you can assign, I don't know, 10, 12 different parameters to this one pedal. So one press of the pedal will change the sound dramatically. So that's it. I've been trying to do this demo for a while. I've been meaning to do it, but been put off because of the vast options. But hopefully this will give you some idea. And for $185, really, you're looking for a synthesizer, and you've got to say, best deal in town. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.